You have just tuned in on the Lisa Baxter Show. And today's show is called For Your Information. So tune in, look, listen, tape it if you have to. As they say, DVR it. Come on, do something so you'll be able to learn something today. So come on in and relax with us. I got a guest today. And believe it or not, he's a great doctor. Dr. Tedler. Hello, Dr. Tedler.
Nice to meet you, Lisa.
Nice to see you again. You looking sharp today.
Well, trying my best.
I ain't mad at you. That's all right. That's all right. So we're very glad to have you today, and we just want you to relax and have a nice time at the Lisa Baxter Show, and we're going to teach some people some things out there because it's for their information. Now, the first question I'd like to ask you is what made you specialize in nephrology?
The kidneys are kind of the master regulators of your body. And when I was going through medical school, I was fascinated by what they do or how they work. But in addition to that, they also help you pull together all the things you know in all other areas of medicine. And when they are sick, they also are a good example of how the rest of the body could be affected when one organ fails or when an organ is diseased. And from the treatment side of things, kidney failure is the one major organ failure that you can actually replace with an artificial treatment, dialysis. And it is one of the early treatments that were developed for kidney failure, and it's a very fascinating thing that would help you take care of patients and help patients.
Ooh. All right, now, you done sold me already. And I done been on dialysis 10 years. Okay. That was beautiful. What is something that you do? Tell me something that you do to help the patients, or your patients, I should say.
You can take a look at this from kind of couple of points. One is the medical side of things. So the kidney failed, and you have to help them go through with the treatment of kidney failure, and you have to offer them treatments that will control the symptoms they have, the diseases they have, the long-term complications they have in their day-to-day life. But that is probably a smaller part of being a nephrologist. The other part is creating that relationship with the patient so they know that you have long-term interest in their care, and also to have them understand that it is a joint venture in this. The physician by himself or herself probably wouldn't be able to control the disease and symptoms. They need to be part of the process, and that involves educating oneself about your own disease, as you very well know. And it takes time to develop that relationship, and if you have the chance to do so, it's probably better to do that well ahead before you actually have kidney failure and the need for treatment, either with dialysis or kidney transplant.
That's good. You know, you're right. A partnership is very important. And a person having a say-so in their own treatment with their doctor and developing a relationship, that's very key, and that's very good. Because I noticed a lot of patients don't know anything about the treatment that they're getting or what they're supposed to have, or even if some of them been on a long time. But I used to always say, well, write it down or take notes or ask questions. The doctor do come by and visit you. You know, some of the patients, some of the working staff come by, you know, the techs and the nurses. That's a good time. You're there for hours. You can ask a load of questions. So, yeah.
And as you mentioned, it's not just the physicians. There's a whole team that's taking care of you. So when you are on dialysis, and you have to help coordinate the expertise of all those team members to make sure that the patient gets the most out of the treatment that's offered. But kidney failure and dialysis is just one small part of the treatment of kidney disease.
Oh.
You have to, if you can, get on treatment for kidney disease at a much earlier stage, so you can stave off the need for dialysis if you can,
Yes.
or at least delay it. And when eventually you need dialysis, it's probably better to actually get transplant before you even need, or you actually are on dialysis.
Oh.
And educating the patient on that aspect of their care, and making sure that they discuss this with their family, friends, identifying potential kidney donors, and also having the evaluation process early would help them get treated before they actually get sick. And that's also another aspect of the care you have to look at.
Oh. Well, you know, I was diagnosed in 1995, the same year I was getting married. And I didn't go on until 2004. And I was trying, my nephrologist and my primary doctor knew each other and was trying to work together to keep the polycystic kidneys under control and what have you. But we tried a little bit of everything. They even had me eating less meat, even though I don't really like a lot of protein. But now I have to have protein because of being on dialysis. But okay. Now, I'd like to ask you, do you know of any new discoveries for dialysis or kidney failure or anything new coming up to help us?
There's a lot of work going on, a lot of research being conducted to come up with better ways of doing dialysis, and also different ways of doing or managing kidney transplant. Some of this research is very early, some of it is fairly well advanced. And one that's probably closest to being applied in patient care within a reasonable frame of time is what is considered to be a wearable artificial kidney.
Uh-huh.
And that has several approaches. One is to develop a miniature dialysis machine, so to speak. And the other is to also tinker with the dialyzer. As you know, you have to have your blood go through a machine, and then they have to have a filter. But to make the current and filters are made of material, even though it is very refined, it is still considered very thick, and the pores are probably not very well uniform.
Yes.
So the idea is to come up with very sophisticated technology that would shrink the size of that filter to a point where you can actually make it wearable. Now, how soon this can actually become routine care is something to look forward to. There's active research going on that. The other thing is to use human, instead of human organs, animal organs to replace as kidneys. And that's been developed for several decades now. The technology being sophisticated, and also making the tissue, the body parts of the animal as close through genetic engineering as possible to that of human. That's being worked on. And then there are additional research in drug development and other things as well that could come to bear.
Oh, okay. That's very interesting. I haven't heard of that. You know, I've heard of like some medicine at one time. I remember the Polycystic Kidney Foundation was talking about some medicine when I went to one of the kidney walks. But I've never heard that, and that's very interesting. Just to know that they're trying to do something, or that they want to do something. Now, the dialyzer was about that big. So if you can get it miniature or where you can wear it, that's something else.
And I'm sure you have looked at the old dialyzers when they were this big bath of fluid and with some immersed.
It evolved.
And it's evolved in the last 30 years from that to something you can actually about this size.
Yeah.
So, into the next step in that transition, what they're trying to do. But I think the process and the manufacturing process is also going to be different. And additional technologies and computers and other things are also helping this development. From the transplant side, there is already something that's being practiced in the country. For instance, donor exchange is an innovation that was started probably in the 90s in the rest of the world, and it started about the turn of the century, about a little after 2000 here, and now it is accounting for about 10% of kidney transplant being done. Donor exchange, just to give you some background, is if you have a donor but you cannot exchange, you cannot take that person's kidney because you're not compatible for one reason or another.
Yeah, I heard
then you can have, you can register in a big pool of people with the same situation, and by swapping kidneys, we would be able to do a lot more kidneys that would not have been done otherwise. And one of the people who helped develop this is actually the person who won the Nobel Prize for things like New York school systems, the student and assignment system, how to actually match people in different situations, schools and residency programs, that kind of thing. So it is already available, and people who do not know about this and who have potential donors that they can take kidney from could actually benefit from something like this.
Yeah, it gives you another answer to the question, another solution rather. So we can all use every little bit of help that we could get. Now, let me see. Let me ask you another question.
You have a lot of questions.
What do you love most about your job?
I think the one thing that is, in a way, slightly different and more gratifying is when you are on dialysis and you're a person who is a physician who's taking care of dialysis patient. It is not really an episodic interaction. It's not as if you come in, I see you once, and then I may see you on another year or another 6 months. It's almost like a family. You're seeing each other every week, and when you're sitting in that chair and you're interacting with the person next to you or the technician or the nurse, there's a lot that the team and the unit knows about you, and then it's like knowing that person.
A relationship,
or
a bond.
There's a relationship that goes on sometimes for the life of the patient.
Yes.
And that is what keeps us going in a way, because we want to do it's almost like taking care of your family member, and you want to do the best you can for that person.
Oh, I like that. We became family. I like that. That's good. That's good. And a lot of patients need that because, some patients are from foreign countries. Some patients don't have any family. Some patients are very young. Some of them are elderly. Some of them are lonely. Some of them are depressed. And the Kidney Club just did something on depression, which was very good. Very good.
And it takes time to air these concerns, because if you are coming in and you are seeing each other every several months, that brief interaction may not allow you to actually address some of the concerns you have. But having that long interaction over a course of several months and years would allow now both patient and the care team, not just physician, but the whole team, to deal one issue at a time and at a time and point that is appropriate or comfortable to the patient.
See, a lot of people, sometimes when I'm being transported to go to dialysis, and I say I'm going to dialysis, people don't even know what I'm talking about. Or they say, oh, you that diabetic. And I said, no, I'm going to dialysis. I'm not diabetic. Even though a diabetic person or a high blood pressure person can get dialysis, or somebody with lupus, and, or kidney disease. In my case, it was a kidney disease from my father. But I want to do this show so people out there can know and learn that dialysis and kidney failure is serious. Dialysis and kidney failure is so serious that you need all your friends and your family. You need the doctors and the technicians and everybody to work as a whole to get these people, or get us, because I'm one of the people, through this kind of thing. It's not easy to be hooked to a machine for so many hours, and all your blood being cleaned out and coming back, and you having low blood pressure, and you passing out in the chair sometime, and you weak when you stand up, and all the energy you had before, you don't have as much. Sometimes you still have some, but you don't have as much. But I just thank God for doctors like you that care about us, that took time out of your busy life to come here and teach.